Now, even for me, that was a bit sketchy. Do not attempt what I did there, unless you have no regard for personal safety or are very confident in where you can potentially fall if things go horribly wrong. I have got loads and loads of updates for you today, and thank you so much to everyone who commented on the previous videos with planting ideas and all that sort of thing. I have some very exciting updates for you guys, but before I do any of the kind of transplanting of stuff, what I needed to do was thin out these trees over here, because if you remember, we'll get a lot of shade over here, a major infestation of green fly in the summer, so I really wanted to remove some of these lower branches to let a little bit more light and a little bit more moisture get into the ground under here, because in the middle of summer it's absolutely bone dry under the trees here, because just rain doesn't get down to there. So I started off by taking out the sycamore that was in the middle here. The exciting thing is what I'm going to do, I've left it as a stump, and we're going to let that coppice, similar to the sycamore up in the top end of the garden next to the dog rose. So that'll just grow up into kind of a sycamore bush, and we'll keep a handle on it as long as it doesn't get too ridiculously big, because behind it we've got the rhododendron, which we do want to fill out that little space there. And I've moved one of the cherry trees over there, and we've got another cherry tree just behind the log there. But before we move anything else around here, there are other branches that I still want to take down, but they are just too high. I mean, for the best will in the world, I've got an 8-meter tape measure here. I doubt I'm going to reach it with this, but we shall see how close we can get. Oh, Nanny. Right. So 3.5 meters from there, so you might as well say, including the length of my arm, that's about 6 meters up. And even for me, that's a bit too sketchy to lean a ladder on that and try and cut that branch down. Plus, that branch, it doesn't look that big, but that is huge. It goes all the way right across to, where's the end of it? Ends about here. So when that falls down, you're going to know about it. You don't want to be underneath it. So I've ordered a saw on a stick, and hopefully that'll mean that we'll be able to reach it from down here and cut it down a little bit more safely, and also prune some of these ash tree bits as well. Not too much, because I do like these trees, but this branch here is leaning over a little bit too much over the side of the greenhouse over there, so that's only going to become more and more problematic. So we'll take that out, just kind of try and keep it in check a little bit, and ideally I want this branch out here. That's right over the greenhouse, and that's only going to get bigger and bigger, and eventually the wind will take it out and it'll land on the greenhouse. So that's not going to be straightforward. The end of that branch actually comes all the way down. Too windy, but anyway, the end of the branch is like there. So I might be able to cut it there and keep hold of it, because what I don't want to do is cut it and then for it to fall on top of the greenhouse. So what I might be able to do is lean a big ladder up there and catch that branch. That shouldn't be too bad, he says. Anyway, that's another job for at some point. But yes, we've now got cherry tree here, rhododendron in front. That should be gorgeous when it starts kind of blooming and things. I'm hoping animals don't eat it. Do I need to shelter it off a bit? You do sometimes get deer jumping over the river, coming into the bottom here. I might need to build some sort of cage around it. We'll come back to that. And we've got this little cherry tree here, which is just coming into blossom at the moment, mid-February. And once this matures a little bit, this should be gorgeous and should just, as I say, just frame off this bottom section of the garden a bit. Cat's gone and done a bloomin'. I came so close to putting my hand in that. Honestly, you leave a pile of soil anywhere in this garden. Can you tell I've been to the garden centre? I'll show you what I bought very, very shortly, because I am so excited. Oh, it's a bit windy today, like, which is a little bit problematic for putting grass seed down because it just blows everywhere before it actually gets to the soil. Anyway, I just wanted to very quickly tidy this area up because look at my poor greenhouse, the state of it. Basically, since this was just bare mud here, whenever it was raining, it was just spraying mud up at the side of our poor new greenhouse. So I'll give that a bit of a wash down, and at least we've got this seeded because grass is starting to grow now. And I know it's early for seeding, but this is a very sheltered spot in the garden. I reckon that'll come through surprisingly quickly. And if nothing else, it's another job off the list. These blocks are very temporary, by the way. I will come up with a better solution along this edge at some point once I get a chance. It's not urgent at the minute, but I'm going to be starting to cut the grass surprisingly quickly. And when I do, what I don't want to do is accidentally hit little bits of gravel and then that flies up and hits the greenhouse. As I say, this is another job for another day. Subscribe and you'll get to see what happens with all of these little jobs around the garden as it kind of evolves. And then, while I'm moving piles of gravel around, I might as well shove some gravel down here. I can't think of any reason not to put this in yet. I think I've got enough. What I do want to do, at some point the water butt's going to go at that end. I think that'll be quite a good place for it. And then it can take the water off the guttering at the end of the greenhouse on that side, and then it's easy to get to, and it's a little bit hidden away, so it shouldn't look too ugly. But yeah, that's another job. Oh, I'm going to be tight on the gravel, mind. See what we can do. Just going to have to spread it thin. So once again, I need some sort of temporary solution around here because obviously I'm going to be cutting the grass up to that point. Shall I get some sand? Vaguely do it properly, I suppose. But obviously these need like cut and properly bedded in and all that kind of stuff. But at least if it can be a little bit of a border to the grass so that, again, I don't want to accidentally hit any stones while cutting the grass. That would be very bad. Chicken, what are you doing on the greenhouse? How did you even get there? Anyway, another tick in the box, another job done. And you know what it is? It's not the neatest job in the world, but small steps, and we can always improve it over time. And for now, it just makes it nice and easy to get down here to get the raised beds and to where our water butt will ultimately end up. So a little bit bodgy, I know, but it's fine for now. Oh, and while I've got the compost up, I might as well tidy up around this edge, because that was always one of my jobs. Honestly, I've got some really exciting stuff to show you in a minute, so bear with me. I'll do that. I think I might just put some bark down the middle bit. Oh man, the wind. I can't even put compost down without it blowing everywhere. Really windy. We're not out of the woods yet. It's still winter, but at least we're getting a bit of a head start on stuff like this, and then I don't need to worry about it. If the seed's in the ground, I'll be happy. Mix it in a little bit, otherwise the pigeons will just eat it immediately. I mean, the pigeons will eat it immediately anyway, but at least it's kind of stands a fighting chance if it's covered up a little bit. That'll do. I knew that daffodil was going to end up blooming early. Stop it, it's still winter. Anyway, I went to the garden centre and I bought some bags of compost, some grass seed, some onion sets and seed potato things. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I ended up getting Foremost, those are first earlies, and some Maris Piper, just because I've heard of them, and also got some 50 onion sets and some shallots, 10 shallots, which were more expensive than 10 shallots in the supermarket, and as far as I understand it, do they just grow into 10 shallots? Are they? I just don't get it, I don't understand. Anyway, probably still a little bit early to plant them, but at least I've got them ready. For now, I should probably store them somewhere dark. I don't want them starting to grow or go mouldy, but hopefully in here it's pretty dark and cool under the stairs in here, and hopefully that will kind of do the job. For now, I will end up forgetting about them. Chicken, you're just following us everywhere today. Anyway, the other thing I managed to get from the garden centre, I was just about to leave, picked up all my kind of bits and pieces, and what was sitting there, just as I'm walking out, some sarcococa. Anyway, this stuff which many of you mentioned I should get some of this for the shady area of the garden. Not cheap like, 15 quid each, but hopefully it'll be worth it. So I only got 2 of them. I might get more later down the line, but I need to get them planted next. So the question is where to put these, and I don't really want to go here because we've got like a rose bush here and we've got clematis at the back there. Don't know, we could end up putting it there, but I think, you know, this lilac will grow out further. I think something needs to go at the back, but I don't think one of these. I think maybe climbing hydrangea or something at the back there. Don't know, what do you think? I know that these smell nice when you walk past them, so this is probably the ideal spot. I just think long term we're going to run into the same kind of problems. You know, maybe in the future we could take some of this grass away and put one here or something, but for the minute I think there's more urgent things to address. Could put one here, but I'm ever hopeful that this fuchsia is going to come back to life. That lavender doesn't look very clever at all, but I'm tempted to hold fire and see what that fuchsia does, so I don't think I'm going to put it here. I think we're going to aim for under the apple tree. I think that's maybe going to be the best location for both of these. So we've got our azalea thing under the dog rose and sycamore, so that's fine there. This buddleia will get huge, so there's no point putting it there. We do kind of have a bit of a gap here, but how big's this apple blossom going to get? I'm not sure. Again, I think it's going to be a waste of a plant if we put it there. So, heading down to apple tree area, we do have what I'm pretty convinced is a dead rosemary there. So I'm tempted to put one there. We do have a rose here, but I don't think that'll get too crazily huge. So I think we're going to give up on this rosemary. There is no sign of life in that whatsoever. It's so weird because literally just over here on the studio side, probably 3 meters away, and look at this, this is done absolutely amazingly well. No problems whatsoever. I'm blaming Asda and their dodgy rosemary plants personally. I've never ever had problems with rosemary grown before, and every single one I bought from Asda has died. But anyway, I think one there. We do have a bit of a gap here, but we've got an acer there, which should get to a reasonable size. Maybe, again, that fuchsia might come back. But we've got another broken rosemary here, so I think we'll go for the other one kind of here, like that, right at the front. I might swap them round because that's a nicer looking plant for it to be in such a prominent location. So I think we'll go for that one kind of there and this one kind of there. Do you think? I'm going to put plenty kind of drainage and gravel and compost in to try and give it a fighting chance, since everything around here has struggled, and I think it's because of the shade and kind of drainage. This is quite heavy clay soil and it's had the life sucked out of it over many years. So let me go and grab some compost and tools. I'm starting to run a bit low on gravel and I keep kind of stealing it from in front of the studio room here, so we're going to gradually end up with no gravel here, but needs must. No one would ever know. I was tempted to say if this was going to come back, but I really don't think it is. I might put it in a pot anyway, should I? That's dead, isn't it? It's got to be dead. That's not a happy rosemary. Not a bit of life on it. Right. And I think what we'll do, because we've got the Acer there, we've got the thingy that I've forgotten the name of there. I think the Acer could potentially get quite big. So I think what we'll do, we'll come a little bit this way, probably kind of here-ish. The ground is pretty solid. I'm going to put plenty gravel and compost in this. Jeez, oh. Right, so Coca. You'll be happy there like that, won't you? Compost around it. Put extra gravel and extra compost. It's going to be the happy, you know what it is, that's a bit low down. Because I don't want it turning into kind of where all the water pools to this one area. I think that's part of the problem that we've got in the first place. We'll go for that. And then similar story with this one under the apple tree. Get rid of that poor rosemary. What happened to you? Ground's a bit softer here at least, but we are right under the apple tree here. So there's a what's that? That's a piece of chipboard. Okay, I mean that probably wouldn't have helped matters. What's that? We've got sand. You see, when we got the studio room built, the builders just buried all sorts of stuff under here. Any more chipboard? As I say, the soil here looks much better. So, gravel and compost, get rid of some of these rocks. Bit low down. Right, good luck, Soccer Coca. You got 2 chances. And I think what I'll do, we'll see how this goes. And if they do well under here, which we'll not really know for probably a couple of years yet, but if they do well, I might buy some more for this area, but at least it's a start. We've got some plants in the ground there, and we've got rid of the rosemary of doom. As I say, it's a shame. I do like rosemary, and it's a good plant. It smells so nice, and it's a good plant for kind of just filling out a big area if it does well. But as I say, whatever reason, rosemary weren't happy here. Fingers crossed. They can go in the compost heap. Stop the presses, last minute planting update. I've also transplanted this over to this side as well, in between the 2 Sarcococcas. There was a lavender there, it really didn't look very happy, but what I have done is I've potted that lavender up. I'll show you what state it's in a minute. But when I removed that plant from under the dog rose over here, I found a couple of other things. So there's something, funny little plants at the back there that look like they might turn into something vaguely worth keeping. I have no idea what they are. And this twig here, I think might be still alive, although I broke the roots so much while taking that other plant out, it might have nothing left. And I've gone and broken a daffodil, gutted. But these are them here. You can see this kind of weird structure that's growing off it, and I don't know, are they going to grow into something worth keeping? Could they be baby peonies? I'm not 100% convinced, and I'm not 100% convinced about peonies either. They seem to just kind of flop about for a bit and then grow a massive flower that lasts for about a day, and then the flower's so heavy it makes the rest of the plant fall over, and then the whole thing just dies. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of peonies. But I don't know, we'll see what that grows into. We've got like, what, 5 of them down there? No idea what they are. And as I say, that poor lavender has joined the lavender hospital down here. It's not looking too clever, but you never know. I'll leave it in the greenhouse, pot it up in some nice free draining soil, put some gravel in there and stuff, so it might come back. But again, that was an Asda special, so I think that's the last of the Asda specials. The rest of those, which are all doing great, they are all taken from cuttings about maybe 2 years ago, a year maybe, I'm not sure. My saw on a stick hasn't arrived yet, so I can't trim those branches, which means I can't do any more transplanting down the bottom there. So we'll save that for a future episode, you know. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. And it is still winter, technically, so I am eager to get out there in the garden and get planting. Really, the next job I've got to get done is to get the bench built for in the greenhouse, so I'm going to get that done. I'm probably going to do the bench build over on the Gosforth Handyman channel, so if you haven't followed that channel, make sure you're subscribed over there, because generally woodworking type stuff tends to be more on that channel, but you will see the end results on this channel as well, plus loads of other stuff. What am I going to do with that? So folks, hope you've enjoyed that. Any other tips and suggestions for our amateur gardening adventure? Do post them down in the comments below. For now, as per usual, Look after each other. Be nice to one another. We shall see you next time. Taddy bye.